of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, number one, to my BFF and my best friend forever is Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, who has brought me to this place and this time. I'm ever grateful. And to my daughter Sharon, who just spoke, as she said, this was her idea. This was her idea for a celebration. So she planted the seed, and Mace Anderson harvested it, and this is the result of that harvest. I'm so grateful to be here with each and every one of you. All of this also was supported by Reverend Deborah Northern, who's not here yet, Pat Pell, who's the chair of our Social Services Committee, and members of the Social Service Committee, as well as the people who are here working today, Mace, Dennis, Brad Jones, Tony, John, Chloe, Burl, and Van. Thank you for all your hard work today to make this a wonderful, wonderful success. I'd like to introduce, because I think I've done it maybe piecemeal, but to everyone who's here, I want to introduce my family, starting with my firstborn and beloved Sharon. And then Kenneth is my grandson, whom many of you know about, who is unable to be with us today. Along the way, I have had the blessing of getting some more children, one of which is Martin. I don't know where he is.
I'm right here, Mom.
Martin, an adopted son. Okay, and my friends here, Isaac, Donald. Okay, these are all my friends. Michael is a grandson, and Debbie, my former daughter-in-law, but still my daughter. So that's my family. Those are my bambinos. I said Roger. Oh.
She got to say Roger.
You know, as I know that probably each of us, we think back on our lives. And as I reflected, I kept thinking about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. And, you know, it's just so apropos that Dorothy was going down that yellow brick road. I mean, she was looking for knowledge and courage, wisdom, love, and to know herself. And that's what we've all done in our lives. And certainly, that's what my life has been about. So starting on that road, I will point out, I started in 1951 at this university in Nashville, Tennessee, and some of my classmates and lifelong friends are here to celebrate with me today. We are members of the double nickel class 1955 graduates of this university, and we just completed our 60th reunion. So we can sit down. Moving on down that yellow brick road, in 1958, I moved to New York City with my husband, Wes Mann, with my master's in social work, and with my little daughter, Sharon. Roger followed in 1963. I got my master's at the University of Tennessee School of Social Work, and I was in the second class, which was integrated, just after the Civil Rights era, well, not after the Civil Rights era, but during that time. And UT, School of Social Work, integrated a year before I started. So that was kind of noteworthy. It was a wonderful experience, and all went very well. As we settled in New York City, we lived in a brownstone at 62 West 91st Street. And it was filled with the best jazz you could ever hear. We gave an open house I don't know if anything like that has been done before or since. I doubt it. But you're talking about grooving. We grooved. It was fabulous. And one of the master musicians is still here with us today, and that's Richard Wines. Along with Richard, who's still here, we have members of the Tired Broads Association. And you're sitting at that table, Jerry Jones, Steve Richardson, and Renee Farmer, along with Lenore Wines. Having grown up in church in Indianapolis, Indiana, it was a part of me to try to establish myself here in New York City. And it was through a classmate, this classmate, Norman Diller, who's not here this afternoon, who told me about Riverside Church and its Sunday school, because I wanted the kids to attend Sunday school. So that was back in the 70s, and Sharon and Roger started attending Sunday school here regularly. That was in the 70s, and I would come to church. But I did not join Riverside until 1985. And I was ushered into membership by my Reverend Fanny Erickson, who's standing there at the doorway. Riverside has just been my anchor since then. It's really been a wonderful thing for me to be a part of everything that has happened here. I have been privileged to be an active member of the social services. And I guess it was just a natural transition for me as a social worker. You know, I just immediately gravitated. In such a large church as this, you have to find your own little niche. And that's how I found mine, and I've never, ever regretted it. I have been active in the homeless shelter, food drives, and the clothing ministries. And may I just say a little bit about the homeless shelter. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s, and my friends questioned me like, aren't you afraid to sleep up there with those men at night? Aren't you afraid of that? But you know, I never was afraid. I never was afraid. We had 10 men here that we housed during the week, and I chose Friday as my day to volunteer, Friday evenings. And I was never fearful, but I remember getting off the subway at 116th Street, and when I would get to the corner of 120th and Claremont, I would look over to Riverside Drive, and I'd look up at the sky, and I'd say, Lord, I'm so tired, I don't think I can make it tonight. I really don't think I can make it tonight. But once I got inside, and my partner was Matt Bickerstaff, who is no longer with us, and Richard Tucker. But once I got inside and we started getting the food together, and the men would congregate, and then we would sit with the men and eat and talk, it was just a beautiful fellowship. I will never forget that. And we would turn the lights out around 10:30, 11, and the next morning get up and make breakfast for them because everybody had to leave by 6 o'clock in the morning. So that was just, I mean, I've enjoyed all the things that I've done here, but that has been a very, very special part of my life, because I thought, there by the grace of God go I. We never ever know what's going to come upon us, when we might be homeless, when one of our kids, friends might be. But it just was a part of me, and the men, the gentlemen, were just wonderful to be with. So that's been a really nice part of my ministry here at Riverside. And even though she's not here now, Reverend Deborah Morgan has joined as our leader of social services ministry. She's the minister of parish life here at Riverside. And it makes it really enjoyable because I knew Deborah as a little girl. Oh my God. her family and my family were very active in a group, a social group. So it makes it very special. I hope she'll be able to make it this afternoon so that you can meet her. Friendships at Riverside have been exhibited today, as I said. The people who have pitched in with Mays, number one, Dennis, Tony over the door, her son John, Brad, Burl, Van, all have come together to make this such a special time for me. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful. I can't remember when or how I became friends with Mace. I don't remember that. I don't know when it got started. He's just always been here, and we're like two old peas in a pod. But he is just a delightful, wonderful friend that anyone would want to have. And there's, I think, Reverend Northern now. If you would come in, please. Oh, okay. I just spoke about you, okay? I've known her for a long, long time, and as I said, I'm honored to have her as my pastor and minister of parish life and the social services. But as he said, I don't know when I started being friends with Mace. I don't know how it happened, but we're like this now. You know, sometimes he needs a pain.
We're going to check out his crowd. We're friends with benefits. I told you what you would be. The benefits are compassion, love, caring, you dirty-minded people, I got you. Those are the benefits. Companionship.
Oh, he's a love.
I'm a mess, is what I
He's a mensch. Okay. But, and I cherish each and every person in here. I may not mention you by name, but you are special to me in ways that you may not ever know. And so I am going to start talking about a few folks here at Riverside that we just had good times together. Daphne always brings her ribs, honey. We've had get-togethers at Columbia's Faculty Club, thanks to Catherine Wilcox. And Erwin is a part of that. He's the keeper of the silverware here. He's the watchman of silverware at the Faculty Club. He knows what I'm talking about. Burl and Van's parties. Wonderful, wonderful things to attend during the Christmas holidays. Very, very special. Lunch with Harold McQuilla, who is not able to be here with us today. And also a dear, dear friend, John Morrison. I think I've tried to introduce him to most of you who are here. John sang at Blessed Memorial at St. Peter's. And I so admire you, John, for the grace and dignity that you have shown in the recent past 2 years during your illness. I admire you, and I'm proud to know you. Mace's invitation speaks to my having worked in fields of the Lord. The yellow brick road led me to 2 areas of professional employment, which were truly testing grounds. Thanks to dear Linda at Presbyterian, Carolyn Nash, who would leave my office and go and write an ode to cheer me up. and Kenny Jackson, who always had my back. I had strong prayer warriors at the New York State Department of Health AIDS Institute. You're not here. Nesta and Trina. And then I had the support of Lavinia. Ann is here. I saw her a little while ago. Ann and Jenny. I became conscious. I mean, really conscious and aware that my role there was to reflect God's love and light to the best of my ability every day. As a human being, that was not always consistently possible, but I did the best I could. And I also realized that it was important to speak truth to power and to maintain my integrity. Along the road, travel ventures always popped up. And along with beautiful countries to see and explore, fellow travelers with Marlene, like dear Helen, proved to be special, wonderful people to know. Helen is just a sweetheart. She is the person that many of you have heard me talk about, who gives the Mardi Gras party every year. She refers to herself as the Bayou Princess. And I mean, the girl can put some food down. Wonderful, wonderful. As well as fun activities, other fun activities have been shared with Maudette. I met Maudette back in the 70s at Jim's. I don't know the name of Jim's Beauty Shop, but it was at 94th and Amsterdam, 711 Amsterdam. And that's where Maudette and I met, and we've been friends ever since, sharing our high teas. So that's been just a great fun. And as that old yellow brick road had gotten to this point, I've adapted the Whiz version. I think probably many of you remember the Whiz, where it says, ease on down. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load, just ease on down the road. So I'm easing on down the road now. No more of Dorothy's hop, skip, and jump. It's easy like Sunday morning. Okay? I'm easing on down the road. And as a friend of mine says, remember, you're not this morning's milk. And in my head, I don't realize that. But in my body, I do. Now, some of you may be too young to know what that means. But when I was a little girl, we had milk delivered every morning. The milkman came, and we had a milk box on our porch. And it was in a glass bottle. And the milk was at the bottom, and the cream was at the top, okay? So it was nice and fresh. And that's what Ozell means when he tells me I'm not this morning's milk. I'm not yet. But in my head, sometimes I feel like it, okay? So, and the other thing is, and we all learn this as we mature, as we evolve. The song that I was just talking about from The Wiz, Ease on Down the Road, don't you carry nothing that might be a load. Think of the different loads, the toxicity of other people, throw it off. Don't let it stay with you. Whatever those things are that you don't need, don't carry them. They weigh you down, they weigh you down. So this is what we learn as we grow and evolve. And I'm really, really, really practicing that. Much joy, I'm having much joy at this particular time in my life, especially with my new family at Central Baptist Church. It's become a very special part of my life. Much gratitude to you, Otis, and our Bible study. I'm definitely learning, and as I learn, I grow in my relationship with God. Thank you so much. I look forward to the third Saturday. Now, on that third Saturday, in the mornings, I have the Riverside Church food drive. And I work in front of Food Emporium at 90th and Broadway. So we actively beg people for money and food and all that. Then I look forward to the luncheon, the senior luncheon at Central Baptist. And it's just so nice to have the fellowship there with Kenneth and my dear buddies over here, Leela and Elaine. I enjoy your food too, as you know. I enjoy your food so much, particularly the gravy. I put the gravy on my rolls and I just sop it up and have a good time. But what is really, the best part of it, that it just feeds my soul and my spirit. We sing the old hymns that I grew up with at Bethel AME Church in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's not the gospel music, it's not the beautiful music at Riverside Church, but it's just those wonderful hymns. And as we sing, I can picture myself at Bethel with my mother, and it just feeds my soul. When I leave there, I don't need to go to church the next day. I don't need to do nothing but just wallow in that. And just, I feel fed. So I thank you, Otis, and everybody at Central Baptist. You really are my family now. I'm blessed also to have an outlet to continue my interest in work in healthcare. That's always been, even as a social worker, I've always been in some form of healthcare, whether it was direct practice, delivery in Presbyterian Hospital, or New York City Department of Health, ending up at the New York State Department of Health on the AIDS Institute, where I oversaw the federal funds that came to New York for Brian White federal funds, which came to New York, and we allocated those. And that was such a wonderful learning experience. We traveled throughout the state, got to know lots and lots of people. But it's interesting, you come on time, Ron. God, I was just getting ready to say that my interest in work in healthcare is being reflected in my work with Ron Guy, who's just coming in, on the board of the William F. Ryan Community Health Center. We work hard to ensure the access to health care for all people, and that's a very, very important thing to me. So to each of you as my fellow travelers on that yellow brick road, and now as we're easing on down the road, I am. You all need to skip and jump. My brothers and sisters in Christ, you're members of the various branches of my family tree. May God continue to grant each of us His grace, mercy, and love. Thank you for coming.